This is Wallace with ZShot. You're watching AsianWithHat.
Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Dave from AsianWithHat over here, and we got Wallace from Sistema, right?
Yep, Sistema, ZShot, Aries, whatever you like to call us.
And you wanted to make some promotion and some announcements about what you guys are doing in Sistema, right?
Well, okay. I think one of the biggest questions that you guys have always asked is where's the PTW? We do have it coming. Some of you guys might or might not know. We have some problem with ATF that the original PTW being so realistic, they don't want us to bring it in until we make some changes. So the changes we made is going to be actually making the US version so much better. First of all, the US PTW will be fully ATF approved, and the big thing is we're going to use actual firearm receiver, the same 7075 forging that goes into your AR to make the PTW up and low receivers.
And so this will be made out of CNC steel or CNC aluminum?
Yep, it'll be CNC'd. It'll be out of an aluminum forging, CNC cut with all the trigger pockets anodized. This guy's going to be bomb-proof. If you can manage to break it, you'll manage to break it through guns.
Fair enough. So there's no way you could actually try and modify the Sistema rifle to actually shoot a real steel rifle, right?
I think the answer is this. If there's a will, there's a way. If someone try hard enough, they can do worth anything. But if you have the resources to get it done, you can probably get a solid chunk of aluminum and just make your own receiver.
And it would probably be cheaper to get
to get a real one.
Yeah,
right. So we're not too worried about that. I think our fan base are, all law-abiding citizens. They're not going to go trying to go like, hey, I have a $2,000 rifle. Let's go do something, stupid with it. We don't see that happen, but to keep the authorities happy. And also, the chance is there. Okay. So we want to be good with the law.
Okay. So on the Sistema rifles, we all know that Sistema rifles are really one compared to a Tokyo Marui rifle or things or replicas. The reason saying so is that it's like the motor grip that's kind of offset, and then the mag well is a lot bigger, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can get into it. Dimensionally speaking, when Tokyo Marui designed the AEG, they purposely make it not compatible with firearm, Japanese regulations, right? To try to make the Japanese government happy. So your mag wells is a little bigger, your magazine is a little bigger, your grip, because the house the motor was a little bigger, so the dimensions is not exactly the same. And we have military personnel comes in, pick up a gun, so it's like, it feels a little fat. So I mean, 95% of guys won't notice it, but sometimes they do, which is why when the system was designed, one of the specifications is that dimensionally it has to be identical. It has to be exactly one to one. Now, on top of it, one of the things that we do that's different, and people are following Sistema, is that Sistema is the first AEG company to have a fully computerized controlled circuitry built into the gearbox. Your MOSFET, your trigger control, you have sensors inside. No other AEG previously does that. Right. So, about it's almost 10 years ago when we launched the PTW, it was way ahead of its time. Okay. Now we're seeing ASU is coming up with this. Aries has their own version of the programmable trigger. I think a lot of those spawned from the PTW, which we saw invited to innovation, and I think that's what originally sets the PTW apart. Is it's not the interchangeable cylinder. It's not just the accuracy and realism of the gun, but the fact that they integrated a computer control system in the firing controller that really sets the gun apart.
Okay. So what's going to be the retail value on Sistema?
We don't know yet. The cost of getting an actual firearm receiver converted to machines and R&D is prohibitively high. So we're hoping to keep the retail price below $2,000. However, if it comes a little higher than that, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. And is there going to be some warranty with it because it's coming from ZShot?
Yes. Traditionally, PTW has the best warranty. It's 5-year mechanical.
Wow. It's
always been 5 years. We're going to keep it at 5 years.
5 years. Wow. And how good are the motors saying? So I've always heard stories of saying so the Sistema, the first thing that the Sistema rifle has a problem with is the motor.
Good question. we do own up to it. There is one batch of the original 498 motor that we believe is defective. The factory would argue otherwise, but there is a, after repeated heating and cooling cycle, a microfracture would develop in one of the windings, and then the motor would have considerably higher resistance and wouldn't work right. That has been corrected. Unfortunately, the myth kind of goes around is that every PTW motor is bad, which is not the case. Now, but to stand behind the products, regardless of when, where, how, you know, how long ago you bought your PTW, if you have a motor you believe is defective, you send it to us and we'll warranty it. Even if you have bought it overseas somewhere, if you have bought the gun from, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, it really doesn't matter. Two things are going to happen. Most of the time when we get a motor in, it's just a brush change. Your brush will worn out, and PTW motors is one of the things that you can't wait till the brush worn completely down. You really want to change the brush after about 30 to 40% of use. So if you have half a brush left, change it, okay? Because the pressure from the spring pushing the brush in and out. So, right, so most of the time we'll see is the brush just needs to be changed, and then we change the brush, it's a $20 thing, your motor is good again. So check that first, you know, it'll save you some time from taking everything apart, send the gun back to us, we'll ship it back to you. But if we do determine it's a motor issue, we will replace the core for you free of charge and send the gun back to you.
Okay, so when do you think is going to be the release date for the US Sistema rifle?
Well, I've been saying SHOT Show for 3 years, so let's just say SHOT Show again. We're getting closer and closer, we're kind of inching forward. The approvals is done, most of the engineering CAD drawings is done. We're basically looking for a machine shop that will do the receiver for us, that is not afraid of firearms. Every time we go to them and say, yeah, it's going to be almost pretty much a firearm receiver, they're like, oh, wait a second, we don't have the ATF classification and all that stuff to do it. So this is the kind of the last roadblock we're seeing to launch the US PTW again.
All right. Well, what's the website we should go to actually find more information on the Sistema, the US Sistema rifle?
Well, obviously, you guys can go to ZShot.com, which is the official US distributor for Sistema products. But you guys can also go to AsianWithHat, and he's going to have more updates for you guys to watch.
All right. Well, this is David from AsianWithHat. Thank you very much, Wallace.
You're welcome. Pleasure's all mine.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next video.